Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too. Glad to be here. So thanks for watching, guys. What we're going to be doing is covering some of your questions that you've got about home financing, or maybe questions that you don't even know that you have. So Sean is our resident expert from First Colony Mortgage, and he's going to go through and answer the questions that we've got when it comes to lending, financing, mortgages, all of that good stuff. So Sean, thanks for being here today. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mitch. It's great to be here, and I appreciate you showing me the ropes and showing me your cool office. If you haven't stopped by, come see Mitch. He's got a cool spot, and he'll take great care of you for your home insurance needs.
Gotcha. Thank you. So Sean, let's start with some of the basics. Where do you get started? Like if you're buying a home, you've never bought a home before, how do you start the process?
Yeah, great question. So we get that a lot of the times. I think people our age don't know where to even start when they're wanting to buy a home. Mm-hmm. They know their parents bought one, maybe some of their friends have bought one, but they don't really know where to go. So they'll usually start online and come across maybe a couple online lenders. But I would suggest going and finding a local mortgage expert there in their town or in their city.
Okay. Sitting
down with them, getting a plan put in place, and finding one that's really going to hear out their goals, get to know them and their long-term plan, so they can put a plan in place and start from there. That will get you at least headed in the right direction. So even if you're thinking of buying short-term or even long-term, having that plan in place puts your goals on the map, so you can either A, start working towards it, or B, buy now, if that's what you're looking to do.
Gotcha. And tell us about how down payments work. I know that I've talked to a lot of people recently, and maybe some of you guys have had this question as well, thinking that you need to have 20% or more for a down payment. But one thing that you've shared with me is that there's actually options where you can do with less money down to maybe get into a first home. What do those options look like?
Yeah, great question, Mitch. So I hear all the time, oh, I don't have 20%, so I can't buy a house. So people wait and they spend money on rent, and they're not building equity in a house where they could be creating wealth long term. So there are a lot of options when you buy a home. There's multiple programs, and it's definitely situational. So for someone who thinks they have to have a lot of money, that's not the case. There's some zero down programs and some little to a couple $1,000 down programs depending on your situation. So like I said, it's just best to sit down, get pre-approved, get a plan put in place, and see what works best. But don't let that hold you back from potentially building wealth and having a place of your own.
Yeah, and I think that's a big misconception. As I've talked to a lot of people, and I'm in the process of building our first home, and Sean's the one who's helping me out with that. And I know I talked to a lot of people who are like, wow, man, how did you save up that 20% down payment? I'm like, truth be told, I didn't. Sean's got some other options. So I think that ultimately the best thing to do is to get with Sean, or get with somebody who's a trusted mortgage professional who can help you out in that sense. So I know that, I am, how old am I? 28. I'm 28 years old. I know there's other people who are going to be watching this who are in my same type of demographic. Sure. Maybe they're just still in school or just getting out of college. What do you do if you're still in school? Should you wait to buy? What recommendations or advice would you have for somebody who's maybe still in school or just about to graduate?
Yeah, another good question. It all kind of boils down to your goals. If you are married, what's your goals as a couple? Do you want to own a home? Are you planning on moving soon? Sitting down with a qualified mortgage expert, thanks for the shout out by the way, will definitely help you kind of peel back the layers to your goals and get to the root of, should you buy now? Should you wait? Spending money on rent is just going down the drain. So I'm a big proponent of home buying in the right situations. If you're planning on moving in 6 to 12 months, it might not be the right thing, but if you can get in with very little down, it doesn't strap your savings, you still got some there, why not put away money towards equity, build that up, and then potentially turn that into a rental down the road? I think that's a great plan, and it's very easy to qualify, and we do have some pretty unique ways we can get you into a house, even if you don't have a down payment. If you have family that lives in the home, you can even get a gift of equity. There's some pretty unique ways to do and go about that.
That's awesome. And to give Sean another plug here, so we're building this first property for me personally, and then we're going to live in it for a while, and then do just what Sean said and turn it into a rental property. Sean knows his stuff, man. Like, as I've invested in learning how to do real estate rentals and things like that, I've gone back to Sean and just pummeled him with questions, and he's got an answer, been able to find an answer every single time. And so it's good to have somebody in your corner who can help you out with that.
I appreciate that. I'm just going to chime in. Thank you for the plugs. I really appreciate that. And Mitch hits on a great point. When you're in this process, it's going to take time. There's very few clients that come in that I cross paths with or get referred to, and they're ready to buy right away. So find someone that's got your best interest at heart. I think what we started on the process 2 or 3 years ago at least. Yeah,
it's been a while. So I'm in a 1099 commissions type of position right now, and I was before that. I was in a commission only type of position, and so the rule, as Sean taught me, is that you've got to have 2 years of job history when you're in a commission type of position or self-employed before you can qualify for most traditional mortgage programs. And so I was selling cars at the time, and I was there for almost 2 years, and then I switched industries and got into insurance. And so basically it's like that clock reset and things like that. So it's Sean's been with me for the long haul. It's been good.
Yeah, be sure to pick someone that does have your best interest. I can't echo that enough. Just someone that cares and is willing to go the distance to help you become a homeowner.
Yeah, no doubt. So Sean, what's the hardest thing about buying a home and the hurdles that you have to go through in that sense? What you work with people on a daily basis who are buying homes. What do you think is the hardest thing about it?
Yeah. So really the toughest part, I would say, is finding that perfect house. So your dream home. In a market like we have here in St. George, and a lot of markets are very similar across the country, where a home pops on the market and it's gone. You fall in love with the property and you can't get it. So the toughest part is finding that right house, but in relation to that, it's being sure you're pre-approved when that right house comes up so that you can make an offer. So I see a lot of times people are, the life's busy and they're hesitant, or something's holding them up from getting fully pre-approved. The right house comes up and then they're rushing, and then there's multiple offers and they miss out on the house. So I would say get pre-approved, get a good realtor. If you are looking for someone in the St. George area, Mitch and I can definitely refer you to some great agents, and they'll watch the market for you so you can move fast. But once you find that right property, and you have a good, strong, solid pre-approval behind you, you're going to get in on the house. Yep. Tied to that, though, the second toughest thing is really the pre-approval process. So it is a process to buy a home. There's certain things you need to have in place: your financials, credit, income. Those are kind of the three big pieces before you can buy a home. So get pre-approved and then work on the hard part of finding the right house.
Cool. So the last question that I've got for you, Sean, if you could give a piece of advice as far as to people, maybe this is your pet peeve of you wish that people would, say this or do this before talking to you or while working with you, what's something that, like a common mistake that you see people making throughout the, financing and mortgage process? Is it, people shopping rate, or is it people, who are indecisive? Like, what's a common thread that you see that people are just kind of messing up on?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. There's a couple that came to mind. I would probably say the biggest kind of frustration, if you may, with my industry is, that's a good question. I want to say it's not trusting their professional. The way we relate our profession or our position in the industry is basically like a doctor. So you're going to come to us, you're going to meet with us, we're going to prescribe you the things we need to get you healthy, get you into a home. And if you follow our advice, we honestly do have your best interests at heart. We want you to get into a home. We want you to be a homeowner. We want you to be happy during that process. So if you trust us, we might have some crazy things. The underwriter might ask for some crazy things. The process might be a little rocky, but we're going to get you there safe. We're going to get you there in one piece, and we want what's best. So trust us, or find a trusted mortgage professional that does have your best interests at heart.
Awesome. Well, Sean, thanks for your time today, and thanks for sharing this stuff with all of you wonderful people here on Facebook. Guys, I hope that this has been valuable. I hope that you're going to take some of Sean's, Dr. Sean, I'm going to start calling you Dr. Sean now.
Dr. Sean, okay.
I hope you'll take some of his stuff to heart and advice, and I'm sure that what he shared with you has been useful in your home search. So we're going to be doing some of these interviews in the future to delve a little bit deeper into mortgages and finance, and having Sean share more of his wisdom with us. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video, guys.
Okay, thanks for tuning in.
See ya.